let's come into standing. We're not going to do anything too dramatic to start with, maybe not at all. So, how are we doing? You two are probably okay space-wise, aren't you? We're going to do this one. So loose, easy swinging twist. Sarah, have you got room there to move your arms? And it's a fine time, isn't it? I think I always feel like I should be mentioning that Freedom Day thing, because I'm going up and look, what does this mean? It potentially means I could have as many people as I like back in the house, but nobody's probably going to want to do that. You take it. No. Good. So a few more times, swinging your arms. That's it. Lovely. And just, so let your feet move. Just think here about being as sort of loose and easy and free in the body as possible. So if we're coming back to this sort of thought about movement and stillness, this is obviously movement. A couple more times. And then we're going to see what is it like to then settle down in standing and be a little bit more still. And perhaps just for a moment or two, a breath or two. So maybe start by looking down at your feet, settling your feet on the floor, and then stop looking at your feet. And you could close your eyes and just see how it feels to be in standing. Now, I'm often very drawn to a little bit of swaying in standing. So instantly, I don't really want to be completely still. So if that's the case for you, you could let yourself sway a little bit from side to side. If you feel that your arms or your hands are a bit tense, you could give your hands a bit of a shake out. So let's just see if we can sort of shake the hands, sway a little bit from side to side, but then maybe start to do less and just sort of settle in standing for a moment. So how does it feel to not be moving? So to make that swaying less and less. Good. Feel your footprints on the floor, to feel your head balancing on the top of your spine, to maybe feeling your breath come in and your breath leave you. Good, and then open your eyes and you're going to start to swing your arms, just the arms now, and cross them, sorry, there's tissues up here, cross them in front of you. Good, very nice. So if you cross one arm and then the other one in front of you as you do this. Good. And so again, this is maybe perhaps an interesting movement because we're quite still apart from our swinging arms. Sarah, if you're hitting the wall, you could always turn sideways on your mat actually. And Linda, you could turn sideways on your mat as well. Then you've got the arms, sort of space for the arms to go. But if you turn sideways on your mat, then look at your feet, because then they've inevitably gone wider. So Sarah, have your feet a bit closer together. What I'd like you to do from here is then swing your arms all the way up and just see how it feels to be still here. So this is quite challenging, I think. Try and let your shoulders drop down away from your ears. That's it. Just see, hopefully it doesn't feel too torturous. We'll just have another moment of being here. And then from here, you're going to come all the way down into a forward bend. So you're going to maybe let your elbows come onto your thighs, let your knees bend a little bit. Or if it feels really comfortable, then release your arms all the way down to the ground. Let the arms go. That's it, Penny. Let the arms soften, let the head go. Let a breath come in, let a breath leave you. So we're just sort of seeing how does a forward bend feel. We'll think about a bit more movement in a forward bend in a moment. That's it. Maybe just have another breath or two, either where you are, releasing your arms to the ground, or making it easier by bending your knees and resting your elbows on your thighs. And then let a breath come in, exhale. You're going to roll back up into standing. Good. Very nice. Maybe once you've arrived in standing, give each leg a little shake out. So we're going to do quite a sort of, I suppose, I say simple balancing thing. Reasonably simple. You're right, Linda. Invading your space. No, that's fine. Don't worry about that. So what you're going to do is bring your hands into prayer pose. And just do a little bit of swaying from side to side. So we're going to come to stand on one foot. So just a little bit of swaying your weight over your right foot, over your left foot. And just decide which foot you'd like to stand on. So you're going to bring your weight onto one foot, and the other foot's going to come to stand on that foot. So we're not doing anything particularly fancy, we're just bringing one foot to stand on the other foot. And then just sort of seeing how that is. So balance is we have this intention to be still, but the reality might be quite different. Now you could from there, depending how steady you're feeling, let your arms come up again and let your shoulders drop. You've still got your sort of foot standing on the other foot. Try and have the elbows sort of soft and relaxed. Good. Very nice. We won't keep the arms up there for too long. What about bringing the hands back into prayer pose? Bringing the hands back down at your heart. Good. Well done. See if you can have another cycle of breath. Let the breath come in, let the breath leave. Very nice. Good. Come down, have a little bit of a shake out. So, start by side two, looking down at your feet, settling your feet, very important. Maybe bringing your gaze forwards at this point. Find a point to focus on. Yes, Penny, if looking at people makes you feel wobbly, or Linda, you can always turn to look at the wall. Maybe not the mirror.
I can do the floor.
Yeah, the floor.
I'm going past you there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because that's, especially as you know, we've not been in class with so many people this year for a long time. So find the point to focus your gaze on. Bring your hands into prayer pose. Start to shift your weight onto the other foot, so the one you weren't standing on last time, and bring the foot you just stood on to stand on top of that foot. And then just see how is it to settle there. And it's fine, you know, we are going to have wobbles. They may be little wobbles that we can sort of withstand. They might be bigger wobbles that take us out of the balance. And it's fine, we just find our way back in. We can take the arms up if we like, we don't have to. Let the shoulders drop. You see what effect that has on the balance. Might make it harder, exactly. But then if we come back to our hands in prayer pose in front of us, then sometimes that feels a little bit easier and we can settle there. That's it. Maybe feel the contact of your palms, feel the contact of your foot on the floor. Very nice, we won't stay there too much longer. It's a little bit noisy, everyone on Zoom with the bin lorry here. Yes, come down, have a little shake out. And let me see. We're going to come now to the back of our mats and we're going to move into a sequence. So moving a bit more, but there'll be points also of stillness. So start by organising your feet a little distance apart and bring your hands into prayer pose in front of you. That's it. So you're going to let a breath come in. As you exhale, you're going to take your arms down and then up. Drop your shoulders down away from your ears. Good. And then just start to roll down into a forward bend, gathering your elbows in. Maybe have a cycle of breath in your forward bend. Let a breath come in, a breath leave. And then put your hands on forwards into dog pose. And yeah. Again, it's about movement here. We're not going to stay. Also, perhaps a couple of cycles of breath in dog pose. Let your head go, knees as much as you like. The breath come in, let the breath leave. Good. And from dog pose, coming down onto hands and knees. And settling yourself on hands and knees, so your shoulders, that's good, Penny, yeah, move the hands a little bit forward. Shoulders over your hands, knees under your pelvis. Come first of all to some cat movements, so rounding your back to the ceiling, dipping your spine down to the floor. And see how these movements feel today. Good, very nice. As you round your back to the ceiling, let your head hang. As you dip your spine down to the floor, just let your belly sort of soften down to the ground. Good. So this sense of moving around the middle of ourselves. That's nice. And you can do a little bit of your tail wagging as well. So come to a more neutral place with your spine. If your lower back feels tight, then look back towards your feet a little bit. And then come to imagining you have a tail and wagging your tail to the right and to the left. That's it. So Penny, maybe look back a little bit more. That's it, between your legs. Oh, that's it, good. Good. Okay. And then let's just come to a little bit of stillness. So you're going to round your back to the seat, look back behind you, and then rock your hips back over your heels. So you're coming down into child pose. And now you're going to let yourself settle in child. Maybe 2 or 3 cycles of breath, and particularly because it's already quite warm today. Now in child pose, notice where your forehead is resting on the ground. And we want to rest quite near to our hairline, so the back of the neck can feel long. So it's just, yeah, helpful. Good. That's it, very nice. You want to feel nice and wide across the back of the shoulder, wide through you. Feel the breath come in, feel the breath. Good. And then if your hands are not in front of you, I'd like you to slide your arms forwards on the floor. And however your arms are, slide them forward so that your elbows come off the floor. So you're in child pose, you've got your forehead on the ground, but you've slid your hands forwards, you've planted your hands, and then come up onto hands and knees. So you're going to be in quite a long hands and knees position. So up onto, that's it, up onto hands and knees. Sarah, you might want to take your hands a little bit further forwards, possibly. So all I'd like you to do here is just this sort of beginning of rocking towards, well, it's not even really face up dog yet, it's just how does it feel to start to rock our pelvis forwards and bring our weight more into our arms. And that's all I want you to do is just, yeah, how does that feel today? And if it feels that your hands are not quite, yeah, very nice. If it feels that your hands are too close to your knees, yeah, have a little play around with Penny. Just, obviously don't overdo it. Good. And it's just that, yeah, how does it feel to start to bear a little bit of weight through your arms, to open up a little bit through the front of the pelvis? And we'll come and do some more of this a bit later on. So again, just, you know, if it's really easy for you to move all the way into face up dog, I mean, you could obviously try that if you want to. Yeah, shoulders down away from the ears. You don't have to be there long. And then come back, either come into kneeling down or into up kneeling, Elaine. So this would be better for you. Come here just where you can shake your hands out for a moment. Good. And bring the backs of the hands. So I think that's quite, yeah, good. Backs of the hands together. Give the hands a little bit of a wiggle. Good. And then we're going to come back into dog pose, forward bend, up into standing. Okay. So come back onto your mat, plant your hands on the ground, tuck your toes under. Actually, Penny, maybe come a little bit further forwards on your mat. I'm worried you're going to disappear under the sofa. So tuck your toes under, exhale, rock your hips back over your heels. Pick your knees up off the floor, see how dog pose feels. You can have 2 or 3 breaths here. Again, we're thinking about moving through this sequence of postures rather than staying anywhere too long. Let the head go. Try to feel wide across the back of the shoulders. You're resting through the arms rather than pushing. Good. And then you can start to walk your hands in towards your feet. So you're walking your hands in towards your feet until you end up in a forward bend. So all of your weight's in your feet, your head is hanging. Yeah, so Penny, it might be quite helpful for you in your forward bend to sort of hold your elbows. So that's it. Yeah, that looks good. Good. Now, from our forward bend, we're going to roll up into standing, touching the backs of our hands together. And as you roll up, you're going to trail your hands up the front of your body, so sort of like this, so that our hands go all the way, arms go all the way up to the ceiling, just long and tall, breathing in, and then exhale. And then we're going to go down to the ground again, do some different things when we get there. So let a breath come in. Exhaling, take your arms down and then up. Feel long and tall and standing. And then as you exhale, gathering your elbows in, bending your knees back into your forward bend. Good. And from your forward bend, walking your hands forwards into dog pose again. Good. And just 2 or 3 breaths in dog poses. Otto, come back, but hopefully you can avoid this bed. Good. And from dog pose this time, come down onto hands and knees. And then we're going to step 1 foot forward. So we're in this position. So we're not in lunge just yet. We're going to be doing this twisty movement where we're in this, you've got 1 foot stepped forwards. I think we all know this one. We've done this loads on Monday. So your front, that's it, your front, there's a bit of sideways space between the knee and the foot. That's it. And what I'd like to do today, not do this side to side. So to swing your arms a little bit, try not to move your legs and pelvis or you're going to feel very unsteady. So it's can you turn from side to side, just to find a feeling of lightness in the upper body. And then we'll stay turned towards the front leg. Yeah. And then your hand can come to rest on that leg. Your other hand can come onto the back of your pelvis, good. Or the back arm can hang. So we're just really thinking about this shoulder, the back shoulder moving back and down, back and down, back and down. The arms being relaxed. Good. So for moving, we're just sort of staying here for maybe 1 more cycle of breath. Let the breath come in, let the breath leave. Good. And then you're going to untwist. So you're going to turn forwards. You're going to lean forwards over that front foot. And then we can tuck our toes under and walk our back leg away a bit more. So we come into lunge. Hopefully you've got space behind you. Up here on the fireplace. Yeah, let your back knee come down onto the ground. Now, once you're in your lunge, this is where you can just have a bit of decide for yourself whether you want to stay in, any of us want to stay in lunge, but you could stay in lunge and just breathe. You could do a little bit of easing out of your lunge and coming back into it. So easing out, we untuck the back toe, we rock back away from lunge, and we come back into it. So I'm just going to sort of leave that up to you about whether you want to sort of stay somewhere or whether with your lunge you want to do this sort of easing in and out a little bit. And that's it. Good. So I think when I was preparing this class yesterday, I was thinking about staying in, I stayed in lunge and then I finished off with rocking back. But that's, you know, that's just what I was feeling like then. It might be that you want to go forwards and back. So I think we maybe should move on to side 2, but before we do so, just ease back if you're still in lunge. So come to this easing back place, look back towards your back foot, that's it, good. Keep your shoulders relaxed, lovely. So we're going to come back onto onto kneeling, hands and knees could be up, kneeling, and step the other foot forwards. I'm just going to turn around. So again, we're in this position, which is not the easiest place to be stable. Yeah, so that's it. So you want your front knee over your front heel. Yeah, there, that's it, Penny. I think that front foot's a bit too far forwards. And the back knee under the pelvis. And just a bit of, yeah, probably not wild swinging of the arms here. Just a bit of sort of easy side to side. And then we can stay turned towards the front leg. So the front hand can rest on that leg. Yeah, that's it, turn towards the front leg, hand well done. Good, the back arm, we're either giving that arm away or the hand can rest on the pelvis. And all the time we're just thinking about the back shoulder dropping and maybe moving back. Probably gone as far as it will go, good. Let the breath come in, let the breath leave, very nice. You're going to untwist. You're going to fold forwards over your front foot. You're going to tuck your toes under. Walk your back leg away. So you're coming on into your lunge now. And seeing how that lunge feels. That's it, Linda. And I would let your head almost hang here at this point for your, for your neck. I think so. Good. And again, remember, you could do the same thing. Sorry, I'm sitting here staying in lunge, but if you like, you could be easing backwards and then coming back into lunge. But it might be, again, that you just think, okay, on this side, actually, I'm really benefiting from staying in lunge. And I'm just going to, I'm going to breathe. So if we're staying in something, it's maybe, there's still movement. There's the movement of the breath. We're allowing ourselves to soften. So sometimes, that's what we need. Sometimes we want to move in and out. Okay. Let's ease back out of lunge. So untuck that back toe, ease back out of lunge. And then we'll come back onto hands and knees and we'll make our way back into standing through dog pose. And perhaps in this dog, you could have a couple of extra breaths in this dog. So we've done a few dog poses now. So come into dog and just, how does dog pose feel? And if it's still feeling quite tight, so of course, bending one knee, bending the other knee. So coming into dog. We'll be going from dog into a forward bend in a moment, but I thought you might be feeling comfortable enough in dog. That's it. Really let the head go. That's nice. Good. Good. Wonderful. Yeah, lovely dog poses, everyone. It's really nice. And so from that dog, walking your hands in towards your feet, coming into a forward bend. And again, just, feel how it is to have all of your weight in your feet. We're going to bring the backs of the hands to touch. We're going to sink into the heels. We're going to roll up into standing, trailing our hands up the front of our body. So you've got to bend your elbows at a certain point. That's it. So your hands can carry on going up the midline of yourself. Good. Drop the shoulders down, breathe in, big circle with your arms. You're right there, Sarah. Big circle. You've got a few obstacles there. So, good. Let's just have a little shake out of legs and arms, and then we're going down to the floor once more. And we're going to come back to our face-up dogs this time. So, water break if you want. It might be good. One of those days when I was just thinking, we're going to use one of those big fans on the ceiling, but it's probably like that once a year if you're lucky, you get to use it. Very lucky we were camping this weekend, even though it was quite intense sun. Yeah, we're camping too. Were you? Yeah, it was very nice to be there. Yes, yes. So drop the shoulders down, that's it. Hands into prayer pose at the back of your mat. Let a breath come in as you exhale. Take your arms down and then up. Feel long and tall. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. That's it, lovely. And then start to gather your elbows in, bending the elbows, bending the knees into your forward bend. And from your forward bend, you'll go on into dog pose. We won't stay long in dog pose. So maybe just long enough to feel yourself arrive in dog. And then move on down onto hands and knees. Good. And settle yourself on hands and knees. And you're going to come back to some cat movements here. So come back a few times to rounding your back to the ceiling. Dipping your spine down to the floor. And from cat, we're going to move on into, use cat to take us into face-up dog, which we're already familiar with. So what I'm going to ask you to do is round your back to the ceiling, stay rounded, tuck your toes under, and then stay rounded. So keep looking back behind you to bring your hips back over your heels. That's it, very good. And then walk your hands forwards a little bit on the floor. So we're going to travel forwards into face-up dog, but rounding our back. So I want you to round your back as you start to move forwards, round your back to the ceiling. So you're looking at your pelvis coming forwards until your shoulders are right over your hands. Good. And then you can That's it. Release your pelvis, untuck your toes into face up dog. Let's reverse that. Let's start to go back. Let's tuck our toes under, start to round our back. So we're going to do this 3 times. All the way back. Good. Let a breath come in and travel forwards as you breathe out. Again, you're looking back behind you. You're rounding your back. Until we get, that's very nice. Good. Into your face up dog. Just have a look at your hands. They should be shoulder width apart, not wider. Go back one more time if you like. So all the way back. Let a breath come in and then again round your back. Travel forwards with this rounded back. Looking back towards your pelvis. Good. This final face-up dog, you could have a breath to. Actually, it isn't the final one. We're going to do some more, a different way at the moment. So this time, just go back into child pose with your feet flat and sort of quiet moment. And enjoy it. Lovely. Yes, it doesn't seem to be. So, good. Let the breath come in, let the breath leave. So when you're ready, you're going to come back onto hands and knees. And again, make it that longer hands and knees position, or come back into a longer hands and knees position. And we're going to do our sort of tail wagging movements. So if we start to think about wagging our tail again, and that can take us back to child. And that side to side movement of the pelvis can also take us forwards to face up dog. And sometimes this feels a bit like we're sort of sneaking ourselves into face up dog. So just sort of see how that feels. And you can do this 3 times again if you like. So pelvis side to side, back to child. Forwards into face up dog. Really let the shoulders come down away from the ears. Good. And again, when you've done this 3 times, or if you don't want to do it, if you want to do it less than 3 times, that's fine. End up in your child pose once more. But I think face up dog is one of those things that it does tend to feel easier. Easier in the lower back the more times we do it. Obviously, there's sort of a payoff with the arms, isn't there? That the wrists and the shoulders the arms start to feel more tired. But we're starting to very nice, beautiful. Yes. Looks like you've got a fan there, Sheila. So very good. We need it up in the loft. Lovely, Linda. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, a breath or 2 in child pose. I'm thinking before, because we're going to come back up into standing, and we're going to do a little bit in standing now. So this is at the end of the sequence. Maybe just before you come back into standing, come into kneeling, up or kneeling or down kneeling. Give your hands a shake out. So be here or here, and backs of the hands together again. Just, yeah, after all those face up dogs. And then we'll come through dog pose, forward bend, back into standing. Okay, so when you're ready, nice big handprints on the floor. So remember, with dog pose, you can take your hands as wide apart as you like. It's just face up dog. We want the hands under the shoulders, face up dog and plank. So bringing yourself into dog, just seeing how dog pose feels. It might be feeling quite nice now. You might need a couple of breaths here. It's not quite the last dog pose of the morning. So from your dog pose, you can, whenever you like, be walking your hands into your feet, coming into a forward bend. Good. Letting your head go. And then touching the backs of your hands together, rolling up into standing, trailing your hands up the front of your body, straight up to the ceiling, letting a breath come in, exhaling. Good. Very nice. Arms out in a big circle. Lovely. And then a little shake out. So maybe now come towards the middle of your mat. And yeah, that's good. And settle your feet down. So have a look at your feet. Settle them down a little distance apart. And let's just take the right arm up. And as you take your right arm up, that's it. Shift your weight into your right foot. You just do that a couple of times. So let your weight rock towards the right foot. Even you can feel that the left heel comes off the floor and your left arm's heavy and relaxed. Okay. Right, and then just bring that arm down for a moment. And do the same thing on the other side. So reach up through the left arm and shift your weight onto your left foot. And you can do that a couple of times, the shifting of the weight, and even go so far as to let your right heel come off the floor now. Good. So we're really sort of feeling we're supporting our weight through the left leg and foot. Okay, bring that arm back down. We're going to go a bit further with side one. So come back to reaching up through the right arm. And this time we're going to be shifting our weight completely onto our right foot and catching the top of our left foot. And then let your raised hand come onto your breastbone. And just see if you can settle here. So how does it feel? So remember, it's helpful to help us balance, to find a sort of point, a steady point to focus our gaze on. Sort of a relaxed gaze. So just to, I suppose, be as relaxed as possible. So it doesn't matter if you have a little wobble. Doesn't matter if you fall out. Let your knee drop down towards the floor. We're trying to feel that the two knees are level, which can be quite challenging. Good. Well done. Come down. Well done, everyone. We're going to take this one a little bit further in a moment, but let's just do that same thing on the other side. So settle down, have a look at your feet. So again, feet a little distance apart. Reach up with your left arm. So then start this, the right heel come up. So by the point we pick the right foot up, it's not got that much weight through it. Good, let the right knee drop. Bring your hand onto your breastbone. Good, and so often we find that one side is a bit less steady than the other, and that's absolutely fine. Again, we're trying to let the knee drop towards the floor. That's fine. If you have a little wobble, just come back into it, no worries. That's it. Let the knee drop towards the floor and the two knees become level. Good. Well done. Very nice. Okay. Come down, have a little shake out, maybe have a little water break. You've all got water, good. So top up of water at any point. Have it. It's getting really hot again. I think there were supposed to be thunderstorms today, weren't there? And then they didn't. They're not. Really? Yeah, they're not on the radar anymore. So, okay, so just organise yourself on your mat. So you've got space to step forwards. So Sheila, you'll need to turn to face your mat the other way. Face the long edge of your mat. So you can step one edge, facing face to step forwards. You're going to step 1 foot forwards. That's it. We're just thinking here, it's about we're going for this sort of little walk. We've got 1 foot stepped forward. That's it. I'm just going to fiddle again with Ethan. Just I don't know. Shifting the weight into the front foot, into the back foot. Is set. So both feet are on the floor. But at this point, and you're going for a walk. That's it. And then let's just bring the hands onto the movements. And we're going to do a little bit of a twist here where we swing our arms, but we're going to try not to move the pelvis. So I'm just asking them just, yeah. So our shoulders can move. Our rib cage can't any lower down. Good. So swinging from side to side. That's it. Swinging the arms. That's nice. Lovely. Okay. And then from there, let's see how it feels to go forwards with our foot stepped forwards. So you're going to bend your front knee. Keep your back leg straight and just come to rest on that bent front leg for a moment. And then from there, if you like, you can go a bit lower so that you then bring your chest close to that bent front leg and you let your head go. And you're keeping your back heel rooted into the ground. So your back leg's straight, your front knee's bent. You're letting your head go. And you're either resting your chest or your arms on that bent front leg. Let a breath come in, let a breath leave. Very nice. On your next exhalation, you can sink into your heels and come back up into standing. Good. And then you're going to come back and step the other foot forwards. So you've stepped your foot forwards, you're going to be, again, that's it, shifting your weight forwards and back. Into the front foot, we come onto the ball of the back foot, into the back foot, we come onto the heel of the front foot. And as we do this, we're using this movement to help us settle, to help us feel our feet on the floor. So eventually we plant both feet down, maybe everything's just a bit quieter. So we can settle both feet down, we can then maybe look at our feet, check they're both pointing, bring our hands this. And just try to feel, from the waist down, knees are straight but not locked. Yeah, if they're locking a bit, have them bent rather than locked. Good. That's it, yeah. And then just a little bit, can we swing our arms from side to side? So Linda, what happens if you straighten your front knee a bit more? Does it lock?
No, I can't.
No, yeah. So I think at this point have it straight but not locked.
If that wants to go like that.
Yes. Well, then you have a bit more sideways. Yeah, go a bit more like that. Yeah, that's it. And you can always not be so sort of long in your step. That's the other thing. Yeah. So it's easy, you are thinking about this being like a walking pace rather than, you know. Sort of to the forward bend now. Your elbows, your sort of forearms, your hands onto that bent front leg. And then you can fold it further forwards, letting your head go, your arms go. Keeping rooted into the back heel. So there's that back long. The foot sometimes wants to turn out. So look at that back foot. Good, let the breath come in, let the breath leave. And then heel, coming shake out. I hope internet connection seems a bit iffy today, so I hope people, you're still on Zoom there and you're following the sound to see us, I can't see you. So we're going to come back to stepping, so feet a little just, come back to stepping your first foot forwards on the mat and come back to that, that's it. So you've gone back to foot number one, stepped forwards, shifting your weight forwards and back. You're going to bring your front foot hand onto your breastbone. So can we all work that one out? And then from here, the next time you come onto you're going to keep and catch your back foot again. So we're coming back to that moment ago. Good. Here, if you want to go a bit deeper, you're going to start and front hand. So you've got this forwards and backwards in this balance. So reach the back foot back, and the front hand forwards. Good. And just see where you want to. Well done. Good. That's very nice. You can try the other side. So you sort of know where you're going now, which might make it, either makes it easier or makes us even more, a little bit more anxious. So, you know, again, I think it's just that trying to, you know, just not, doesn't matter whether we manage to balance or not. So this shifting the weight forwards and back. We're thinking all the time, feeling our feet on the floor, front foot hand onto your breastbone. And then whenever you're ready, let your weight come completely into your front foot. Catch your back foot. And so it might just be that we're steady in this sort of quiet balance that we did before. Can we be steady here for a moment, upright? And then we've got this possibility of reaching the back foot. So the foot is pulling back away from the bottom. We're reaching forwards with our front hand and arm. We could tip forwards a little bit if we like. But don't forget that sort of backwards movement of the foot away from your bottom. Good, really nice, well done. Lovely. Wonderful. Good. Excellent. And yeah, that's it. Reach your foot heel back away from the bottom, so down. Gives you a bit more of a stretch through here. Okay, well done everyone. Have a little shake. Forward bend, dog pose, child pose. And you've got a little choice now. We're going to think about, in each of these stages, you can either be still or you can move. So when you come into it, you just still wiggle around, wiggle of the pelvis, shake the arms, or you could wiggle a bit and then be still. Settle. And from standing, you're going to roll down into a forward bend. And it might be quite nice in your forward bend to move a bit to start with, to do your weeping willow movements where you're trailing your hands around the fronts of your feet from side to side. Good. Good. Very nice. And then from that, you could then just have a couple of quiet breaths in your forward bend. How does that feel to be quiet in the forward bend? From being quiet in the forward bend, how does it then feel to walk on into dog pose? So in your own time, walking your hands forward into dog pose. And in dog pose again, do you want to, it's very nice to your shoulders, Penny. Do you want to move? Do you want to be quiet? Just making that choice for yourself. So it might be that you've done enough dog poses that it feels you can sort of settle in dog pose. And then whenever you're ready from dog, folding down into child pose. And in child pose, we can be quiet, or we can wiggle our pelvis a bit from side to side. So that's it, that's another choice. Good. Okay, just let another or two move through you in child pose. And then we're going to do a little bit, a few sitting positions. And then we're going to do a little bit of sitting and breathing. So I think what would probably be nice from child pose is to come and sit with our legs long and wide to start with. And lean back on your hands. That's it. So you can always turn around the other way on your mat if you want to. So Sitting with our legs long and wide, leaning back on our hands. Perhaps only the first thing is to give your legs a little bit of a roll. So the toes turn in, the toes turn out. That's it. Otto, on your bed. On your bed. Keep it hot. On your bed. On your bed. Okay, well, I get what I'm going to do what he's told. That's good. So the next thing you could try, so we're just doing a bit of movement in this. The next thing you could try is stretching into your heels and spreading your toes. So then we feel that the muscles through the fronts of the legs all tighten a bit, and then we can relax that. We can try that a couple of times. So stretch into the heels, spread the toes. Sometimes as you do that, it feels you can then sit a bit more upright. Yeah, so be aware of that. So relax the legs. We relax the legs, sometimes we then sort of relax the body. And then again, stretch into your heels, spread your toes, and it might just help you come to feel you're sitting a bit more on your sit bones. Good. Now, what about if we try and leave the legs just quiet and move the body a little bit? So there's no right or wrong to this. It's just a bit, you could be doing a bit of swaying. That's it, yeah. Circling, swaying. Another possibility, so there's sort of circling or swaying. All very technical terms here. Circling is around the sit bones, swaying is more side to side. You could do a little bit of twist rotating, so that would be more turning to face one leg, turning to face the other. And I'm using my fingers here very much sort of to support me. So each arm is like a bit of scaffolding or a guy rope. You've been camping, a guy rope for the spine. Good. And you can obviously make the movements bigger as well. It really depends how you're feeling here. Some people, I find it quite hard in this one. Sometimes people like to take their arms up, but I'm really not so keen on that. In good. Panting dog in the corner. Yeah. Okay, let's we'll come back to this one and perhaps be slightly quieter in it, but let's come on into cobbler pose. We're just doing a few of our sort of familiar sitting things, and let's just for this cobbler pose, maybe we'll just take a moment or two to be quiet. We're going to do a little bit of pinwheel, so maybe in our next cobbler pose we'll move a little bit more. So from here, let's go on into pinwheel. Let's take one knee on top of the other knee and slide the top leg back. Now, let's circle a little bit, but then I want us just for a moment to then be still and will, because we very rarely, we're all sort of circling here and moving around, and then we tend to fold. But I'd just like you to, then settle. So we're in this sort of asymmetrical position, so you might feel a bit, that your pelvis is tilting, that's fine. Bring your hands into prayer pose for a moment. Just see, how is it, if you close your eyes, I'm resting my thumbs on my breastbone. Bring the hands into prayer pose. How is it to sit upright for perhaps a cycle or two of breath in pinwheel? Let the breath come in, let the breath leave. And then we can move on into our pinwheel forward bend. So we can release our hands from prayer pose. We can turn towards this knee that's going out to the side. We can fold the weight of our body over that leg. Good, and just rest down there. You're all right, Sarah, I did under the radiator. So, good, just rest down there. So again, this sort of quiet, settled breathing in pinwheel. Let the breath come in, let the breath leave. Okay, and then walking your hands in towards you, coming back out of pinwheel. Slide your back leg on top of your front leg and open your legs up into cobbler pose. And then let's just do a little bit more movement in this cobbler pose. So it could be this rocking side to side. That's it. So yeah, you could hold your feet or your hands could be on the floor beside you. So yeah, how does it feel to rock? be a little movement, it could be a big movement. We could, yeah, do a little bit of circling. It's more when the sort of body is, you know, we're feeling we're circling around our sit bones. And we can also, I think in this one, it's maybe nicer to take the arm up and the other one. So we're leaning onto one arm, the other one coming up and over. So we've got these side lengthening movements through the body. We're feeling one side of the body is lengthening out. Good, very nice. Okay, we can do that perhaps once more on each side, and then we'll come over to side 2 pinwheel. Good. So let one knee come on top of the other knee. That's it. Slide the top leg back. Very nice. Do a little. So again, on pinwheel, do a little bit of circling. Yeah, circling around. And from that, we'll settle. And again, we'll have a couple of breaths with our hands in prayer pose, just thinking about how it is to settle in pinwheel a bit more, you know, usually we're in our forward bend, being a bit more upright. So bring your hands into prayer pose. Maybe close your eyes, feel the breath come in, feel the breath leave you. Give the weight of your legs and pelvis to the floor. And then releasing your hands, turning towards your knee that's going out to the side, folding down over that leg. Let the breath come in, let the breath leave. Very nice. Good. So from pinwheel, you're going to walk your hands back in towards you. We're just going to do one more sitting position. You've got a choice now. So before we come and sit and do a little bit of breathing, you can choose either to sit quietly for a few breaths with your legs long, or in cobbler pose. And you might want to do the cobbler pose forward bend like you were doing a moment ago, Sarah. So if you're doing the cobbler pose forward bend, I tend to start upright and then walk my sit bones back away from my bottom. And then it's a bit easier to fold forwards when there's more distance between your feet and your pelvis. So either cobbler pose forward bend or sitting with your legs long and wide. Just be in a place, see if you can be in a place where you can just be. It's not always easy. You're very welcome to be leaning back on your arms. Yeah, it's just some of these things are a little bit easier in the warm weather. And let's just see, maybe we'll have 3 cycles of breath wherever we are. And the out breath is when perhaps we're able to settle a bit more, perhaps even able to go into the forward bend a little bit more. When you breathe in, that might be a nice opportunity just to let your spine sort of straighten up a little bit. So perhaps we come up out of where we are, let the spine straighten up a little bit with the inhalation. And then as we exhale, we could fold forwards again. We'll just try that for another couple of breaths. Again, we can let the in-breath take us upright. And then we can exhale and just think about folding forwards a little bit. And then one last time. Good. Okay, we're going to come and do a little bit of breathing, sitting down. So come to your place, which would be with your back against a wall, a sofa, yes, your pillar, Sheila. And you can either sit with your legs long and a little bit wide, a little bit apart.
Yeah, sorry, it's really funny.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely good. Yeah, so either legs long and a little bit apart, or if you prefer, you can cross your legs. So probably not cobbler pose, but it could be, you know, it could be a sort of easy cross-legged, one heel in front of the other. Yeah, pelvis right up against the wall or the sofa. Sofa's quite good because you've got a gap. So Penny, you could probably bring your pelvis back a little bit more, I reckon. But yes, that's good. If you're sitting at the wall, try to avoid leaning your head on the wall. That's the route to falling asleep. So, okay, we're going to do a little exercise with alternate nostril breathing, but we'll add that bit in a moment. This breathing exercise has colour for us. It's, yeah, we may have done this a while ago. So what I'd like you to start with doing is closing your eyes, and as you breathe in, you imagine you're breathing in, we can say the beautiful sunlight, this beautiful golden sunshine we've had these last few days. So you're breathing in golden light. And as you exhale, you imagine you're breathing out grey. And this grey symbolises sort of sluggishness, apathy, those sort of qualities. So do that for a couple of cycles of breath. So breathing in golden light. And breathing out this sort of grey mist, sluggishness, apathy. Breathing in golden light. Breathing out grey. So do that one more time in your own time, breathing in golden light, breathing out grey. And we're going to keep on with the golden light and the grey, but we're going to add a couple of alternate nostril breaths in. So like we did last week, you're going to be closing your nostrils with the index finger of each hand. And don't worry if you weren't here last week, so you just use your index finger of each hand. So you're going to breathe in your golden light through both nostrils. And then use your left index finger to close your left nostril. And you imagine you're breathing out red for anger through your right nostril. So long. Imagine this red mist leaving you. Rest your hand down, breathe in golden light through both nostrils. And then use your right index finger to close your right nostril, and you're breathing out black. You can think about this black smoke coming out of your left nostril. And this is for sort of sadness, despair, depression. And then you rest your hand down, you breathe in golden light through both nostrils. And then this time you breathe out grey again through both nostrils, that grey for sort of sluggishness, apathy. Breathe in golden light again through both nostrils. And then left finger closes the left nostril. Breathe out red for anger through your right nostril. Rest your hand down, breathe in golden light through both nostrils. Close your right nostril, breathe out black for sadness through your left nostril. Rest your hand down, breathe in golden light through both nostrils. Breathe out grey through both nostrils. Breathe in golden light through both nostrils. Closing your left nostril, breathe out red anger through your right nostril. Imagine this sort of red mist. Rest your hand down, breathe in golden light through both nostrils. Close your right nostril, breathe out black, the despair through your left nostril. Rest your hand, breathe in golden light through both nostrils. Breathe out grey through both nostrils. And I'd like you to do this once more on your own. So do the red and the black once more in your own time. Breathing out red through your right nostril. We always breathe in golden light through both nostrils. And then we breathe out black through our left nostril. And finally finishing with golden light through both nostrils. Breathing out grey through both nostrils. And come back to that for a couple of cycles of breath before we leave it completely. Is that breathing in golden light through both nostrils. Breathing out grey through both nostrils. Grey for apathy, sluggishness. And maybe just before we lie down, take a moment to just reflect back on that exercise and whether, as we were imagining the colours and the emotions, whether any of those felt more present to you. Was it anger? Was it sadness? What were the things perhaps that you felt you could connect with, that perhaps you felt you wanted to let go of as you breathed out? And then just come to feeling the weight of your legs and pelvis on the ground. And the flow of your breath through you, not with any colours now, just your breath as it is without doing anything to it. And then come to lying down on your mat, finally. You're welcome to stay sitting if you prefer, but I think it might be nice to do a little bit of lying down at the start. I was just thinking, thank goodness I don't have to suggest blankets, which I think that probably was a week or so ago, a week or two ago. So lie onto your back, and again, there's that opportunity when you lie down to either think, just to, what do you, if there's any little movements you would do to help yourself settle. We all know things we can do. And just our body will tell us if we pay attention. Yeah, very nice. And then finding a place where we can settle, we can rest, we can be quiet. We can feel the flow of the breath within us, but we can also feel the contact of the ground beneath us. Feeling the air on our skin. Sounds around, both near and more distant. in. No rush. You can take your time to come back around. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to, if people on Zoom, you could unmute selves, rather. I'm glad you're still here. The internet seemed to not be working very well at one point.